Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Summit Converstations video. Today, I wanted to talk about something that came up with a client recently that I think most of us can relate to. So I was chatting with a client, an accelerator client. Her summits go great, but she's not feeling wonderful about like where her business is as a whole. And I could so resonate with that feeling. And like, I am convinced that no matter how successful your business grows to be, there will always be times where you question whether things are going to keep moving in the direction you want, right? For me, the last time I felt this way was back in October and November of last year. Things were feeling stagnant and honestly a little bit scary. And looking back at that time, I definitely took some big, scrappy, honestly smart action that helped me pull out of that place. But now that I'm not in that active headspace anymore, it's a lot easier to be like thoughtful about what a step-by-step process I could actually put in place next time I do it. What would actually be helpful during those times, rather than kind of like being taken up by the anxiety and the emotions and stuff that come up in times like those. So today, I wanted to share what I wish I would do when business feels like it's kind of falling flat, and what I plan to do next time. Now, a lot of these things I did actually do, just not in like the nice step-by-step type approach that I'm going to go over now. And I hope that it will be helpful for all of us the next time that it happens. So yeah, this way, when you fall into those times, or maybe you're currently in one of those times where you feel like no one cares what you have to say, and when you're convinced no one will ever buy your offers again, when you've decided that you're like bound to fail, you have something to fall back on. So the first thing on my list is take a break. And I mean like a real break, like a week or longer, with no work, no pressure to come up with the next big idea. Time to like reset, feel your feelings, be creative or not, be alone or not, and just like release the pressure to perform. Like this right here, this actual rest, we need it so much more than we realize we do. This is really what I feel like opens the door for you to be able to approach every other step in a much more regulated way than you would if you were like, oh my gosh, everything's on fire, I got to do something about it, right? What if we took a break? Like, okay, I feel reset. I am realizing what actually matters in life, and now I can go tackle these issues in a more reasonable way. But I'll be honest, it's easy to sit here and say now, this will be the hardest one for me to actually implement. And like one of the things I did not do last time, I guess I did take a break over the holiday season, which was kind of in the middle of this, but we had already taken a lot of action to fix some things. So like when things are going south, I think our instinct is to work harder and not step away. But I know that every time I force myself to take a break, I come back with so much more clarity and energy. I'm able to complete projects more effectively and faster. They get better results. I'm having more fun. I feel like it's just something we should lean into a little bit. So let me know if you've ever done that in a time where you're feeling like things are a little sketchy and how that went. Next, I would look at this question. When is the last time I actually made an offer to my audience? And I don't mean like a casual link buried in a long form email, or a post on Instagram stories that like a whopping 1.5% of your following might have seen. Like, when did you make a real direct offer with a compelling reason for someone to want to join right now? My answer to that question would very likely lead to the next step, which is make a freaking offer, right? Like an actual straight up sales invitation, whether it's one email or a series of 10 or a live training that you can turn around quickly, whatever it is, get an offer out that your people have the opportunity to respond to and be supported by, while also supporting you and maybe fixing all your life's problems. I don't know. But like sometimes we're so caught up in content creation, visibility, routine, that we forget the most basic thing, that people can't or aren't super likely to buy what we're not actively selling. And like I've caught myself in that trap more times than I'd like to admit. I look back at my calendar and realize, oh, I haven't actually offered anything substantial in months. No wonder. Yeah, and then I'm wondering like why sales are down. It's a pretty simple solution. And I think part of it is just like getting comfortable in our routine and what we're doing, and the sales coming in. And then we get these reminders that, oh, wait, these other things actually matter. These more uncomfortable steps actually matter. So we're going to make an offer. And then once that's done, my next move is to connect with my people. So I have found that I tend to feel like I'm failing when I've disconnected from my audience. So I have built in a lot of routines to protect against this since January, I guess. This is the one of the things I leaned into after my time away. Like true connection with my people always brings me back around. This could be a co-working session, which is where our monthly Summit Host Hangout co-working sessions came from. It could be a quick Loom video that gets them commenting, which is exactly where this series came from. Or even just showing up more consistently on stories, which is like honestly really difficult when you're feeling like things are lackluster, at least for me. But like I said, this video series, our monthly co-working sessions, sending more value add emails, every single one of those is a direct response to the slow season I'm talking about last year. And I really think they're all helping. They're all helping me stay more connected to respond to what my audience is asking for more quickly. I think it makes people more likely to want to jump into my offers and feel comfortable doing that. So for me, this is like connecting with my audience is a really big one. But yeah, like when I'm in my head too much, getting out and actually talking to the people I serve reminds me why I do this work in the first place. And like I said, gives insights that you wouldn't have otherwise. From there, if things are still feeling slow, I'd get creative with an offer. This could be something you move earlier in the process as well. But like if you've made an offer of one of your normal programs, if you started connecting, things are still slow, what if we get creative? That could mean either selling an existing offer in a new way or selling something totally new. So like with a couple clients recently, one of them was like really needing to bring in extra revenue. I'm like, okay, what's the fastest way you could put out an offer without needing to do all of this marketing material, sales page, all these things that would be fun for you, easy to deliver and all of that. And what he came up with was like a VIP. I don't think it was a VIP day, but like a VIP session. He sold for an amount that felt good to him. He put the offer out to his audience in a couple emails. Like he was thrilled with the results and feeling better about his life, right? For me, something we did in December, I got creative with the way pricing was presented in one of our offers. And then I did a like application only webinar. So people had to apply for the webinar to be able to go to it. I was not shying away from the fact that I was selling. I was hosting a very high value training. People knew they were applying for a program in order to get access. And that brought in 23,000. And then I came up with a way to offer one-on-one services that wouldn't add much more to my plate. And we brought in another 5,000. And those two things were all I needed to feel significantly better about where we were sitting. And like that gave us the breathing room, the wiggle room I needed to take my step back at the end of the month and come back feeling refreshed, wanting to connect and things like that. So all of these pieces are kind of working together. And while like both of those two offers I just talked about came from feeling pressured to make something happen, the bright side is that they've both become ongoing strategies that we're implementing. I've generated an extra 16K with just those things since then, which I'm very happy about. So I'm glad I had that time where I had to get creative and scrappy, because as now it's benefiting our business like in a more wide way. I was able to bring on another team member who was looking for a position, which always feels good. And we're able to support all of you better because of it. So again, the win-win-win situation I talked about. So yeah, a little extra pressure, I think, can sometimes help us innovate, even though it's not fun in the moment. Okay, I think maybe one more. Some of you might want, okay, there's two more. Some of you might want this next one to be higher on the list, but here's where it would live for me. If it's still needed, if I've done those things and it's still not feeling good, I would actually look at the numbers and realize that there's probably no real reason to be freaking out. I keep this one closer to the bottom of the list because I really like to work where my energy is. If I just have the gut feeling that things are not going as well as I want to be taking action to fix that, right? But when this happens, late 2024, and I looked at the numbers, it's like, oh, we took a very small loss one quarter. And I'm like losing my mind. Or maybe it was 1 month. It wasn't a quarter. It was 1 month. We took a very small loss and I lost it, right? It's fine. It's fine. So like if I needed to, that would help me come back to my senses maybe and realize that things were okay. Again, if you need, I don't know, a more realistic look at that sooner, totally move this step up in your list. You could also kind of dive into your expenses. So look for high impact and easy expenses to cut to relieve some perceived pressure. So for example, it was in this time when I was diving into numbers, even though that loss was small, I was still like, how can I make sure this doesn't happen? How could I relieve some of this pressure I'm feeling right now to be able to like support my family and my team and everything, and just being able to enjoy what I'm doing without feeling like I always have to come out with these new sales strategies. It was during this time that I was looking at expenses and I decided to cut our custom boxes. So we've been sending custom boxes to our new clients and students for 4 years. We've sent hundreds and hundreds of boxes. But the thing is, it costs us like $30,000 per year to do it. So long story short, my basement is full now of like Summit in a Box swag, resources, t-shirts. If anyone needs a wet erase marker, I have them. All kinds of good stuff. But we're going to save a ton of money moving forward. And they just weren't doing anything for our business. Yes, they were fun to send. Hopefully they brought a smile to people's faces. But honestly, we very rarely heard anything from people who got them. Even though I'm pretty sure they liked them. We never heard anything, so it just made sense to get rid of. You might be sleeping on expenses like that too. Hopefully it's not like a $30K per year thing that isn't necessary. That's just kind of sitting there. But it could be. And then last but not least, I would start working on a summit. I wouldn't do this first though. You probably knew this was coming, but I wouldn't do it first. And here's why. A summit takes a while, right? A summit takes 90 days to produce. You don't want to be in a terrible financial state in your business for 90 days. So I would take quick action with all of these things I talked about, or whatever of those things are going to be quick for you, and then start working on a summit once you've kind of boosted that revenue enough to get you through, because that's going to give you the leads, the revenue, the momentum you need to help you get boosted back up and hopefully stay up, right? That's the strategy. That's the idea. But you need a longer timeline to do that. So yeah, like overall, my brain, your brain, at least the reasonable parts of them probably know that like these dips are very normal. Ebbs and flows are a normal part of business. They're going to continue that way too. Like, sorry if that's a newsflash to you, but knowing that doesn't always make it easier, right? When you're in it, it's always hard. But I know that having this plan, at least for me, will help me next time. I hope it helps you too. I hope you enjoyed the kind of more off the cuff, random feeling video. But I'm curious to hear, what do you do when you are feeling like your business is in a slump? Like, do you have specific strategies you turn to, certain things that work well for you? Or maybe you're in that place right now and figuring out. But drop a comment below this video. I'd love to hear from you. That's all I have this week, and I will see you next time.